Welcome back, Dota 2 fans. Game 2, Ad Finem versus Elements Pro Gaming BTS Series for EU Division. Fogged MRP here. Game 1, Drow Ranger pick from Elements Pro Gaming did not work out by virtue of some good early rotations from Ad Finem, taking that laning advantage in towards the mid game. What do you think they go here with their first pick, Fog?
Well, I'm glad to see they banned the Wisp. I think it was one of the big things that caused them a lot of issues. I think Spartan played a pretty solid game, had some unnecessary deaths, but he was, like we mentioned, the sacrificial lamb for his team as he tends to be. Elements, there's still the what we got, like the Sanking, we got the Elder Titan. I mean, okay. I didn't know if it's I don't know. It seems like
It's
some
first
teams
phase
are
worthy, yeah.
super favoring it first fade, but some teams I feel like it's kind of falling off from what I've been hearing, like out in the back scenes from some teams. But it doesn't matter. Like, some teams like it as a preference, other teams maybe not so much. So either way, it can still be a really strong hero, especially with the Void combination if they want to go for that right now.
You heard it here first, guys. If you ever become a pro, you get access to the back scenes, whatever the hell those are. Void, yeah, definitely still in the pool, and as you mentioned, combos up really well with the ET. So maybe the one thing that increases the value of that ET early on. We saw Friends utilize this combo earlier today. Earth Splitter's hitting every single time, so can be a devastating combination in team fights, and definitely one that can compare up to the Sand King Epicenter up on the counterpart side in Ad Finem.
Yeah, definitely really liking their Sanking though, and this hero has just been super prominent lately. Oracle as well. But it may be a bit weird to pick it up in the first two here. I guess these two teams maybe just heavily favor it, and it's just in contention, and they just wanted to have it this game.
Right.
But yeah, this hero is more of he's kind of like a combo hero rather than you just pick it up.
Mm.
But it's also it's pretty safe to just pick up one of your support heroes in the first two anyway. Just leave your draft open-ended.
Yeah, don't want to reveal all that much, and Oracle, one of the better supports to not only sustain a safe laner but solo zone off laners, allow the other support pick to be a little bit more greedy in nature, a little bit more roam oriented or nomadic. But Drow Ranger ban is going to come out for Ad Finem, so despite being able to defeat it in the first game, don't want to deal with that style of Dota and all that pressure coming from the Drow as well. It's much easier to group up around your Drow Ranger when you have a Faceless Void. You talked about kind of the discrepancy of the sniper pick, the abnormality of it kind of fitting into that Drow Ranger lineup, but Drow Void ET is a lineup that's gonna sit under your tower, threaten your buildings, and invite you to come fight them. So definitely a wise ban there from Ad.
They're also I feel like it's also maybe because Elements is on Dire and they have the Elder Titan and Void, so like contesting Roshan versus a Drow lineup is fine, but contesting Roshan versus a Drow lineup with an Elder Titan Void, that clump up right there is way too devastating.
What direction they go in this one, definitely a lot open to them. OD still another pick to consider here with the Void in the pool, and as well as you've mentioned, kind of the uptick in his amount of picks recently in Pro Dota in this kind of post TI meta before we get hit with the next patch. So we'll see which direction they go here. Once again, they're going to have that kind of respect band towards the Slark of Madara for Elements.
Yeah, it's pretty fair. Guy's got a pretty good Slark.
Yeah, he's alright.
He's alright.
They've come a long way, this squad, for sure. I remember about a year ago in Vilnius. Actually, Milan, Madara, and Spartan, interestingly, were on a team on No Logic Gaming about a year ago. So interesting to see them face up against one another and kind of be keen to what their signature picks are. But Marana generally not slipping through the first phase of bans and picks. Will end up doing so here, but Ad Finem will remove it. Just a strong hero, don't want to give away. Also combos nicely with the Void and the arrow.
Yeah, with the Elder Titan as well, amplified from the Astral. Gives that double starfall once he gets the Aghanims up online, and Marana makes it extremely lethal, but yeah, taken out. So maybe Ad Finem, I think they're probably going to go for, I think they can still go for the OD. I think it's pretty cool versus like Void and Elder Titan. You can avoid the stuns. You can help teammates out of the chrono. You also have an Oracle as well with it, so you have a lot of different ways to be survivable. Maybe they don't want to do the same thing as last game, but like we said, the meta seems to be changing a bit, and people seem to be trying out some new heroes like the OD and some others.
Any other Dragonlance carrier certainly on the radar as well for Elements.
Yeah.
Any other range carry with that respect. Morphling still in the pool. They have an Elder Titan, so they don't have to worry about the natural order against them. But
And they banned the AA. I think this is like an indicator. Maybe AF just takes it.
yeah, it would be tough against the Elder Titan because of the natural order against that high energy hero. But
oh my god, I think Elements has to pick Huskar here, or they just lose the game.
yeah, AA is out of the pool.
There's a Dazzle and an Oracle on Ad Finem. Yeah, they have to take the Huskar. They they had to. That sucks. That actually. Ad Finem at least has 2 more picks to set up for it. They don't really have the best physical contingency right now. They have the Weave, which helps, and the early magical, which is helpful for Huskar. So if they try like some potential like we were mentioning versus Huskars and Drowsy, you want to usually pressure them early. So maybe they could do some like aggro with the Sanking Dazzles and stuff. But yeah, that's an interesting way to change up the drafts. You know, you just like have to pick the Huskar because you just can't deal with it.
They cornered them, and then there is that huge single target physical damage coming out from the LS.
Omni Knight. All right, okay. we got a Dota 2 game.
Got ourselves a barn burner here. Should be interesting.
I was gonna mention the Omni last game with the OD because that's I know what Slacks did that in his pubs I think, and everybody's like going crazy about it too. But I know teams have actually been trying it a little bit. But I know Omni Knight does get like heavily countered by like, the Purge thing, which people always like to talk about. Get a Dominator and Purge it if you're the proper carry hero.
There's a Fortune's End on the other side as well. So
yeah,
a couple of Purges going that way. But I guess with a Dazzle and an Oracle removed from the pool, your options are few and far between with the IO banned out as well. So you got to go for something for this Huskar.
Fortune's End, you can't target it on the repel though. It has to like clip off of like the side thing, obviously with the AOE, which has it's a 300 AOE. It's relatively big for one of those spells, but it's small in general. OD banned out from Ad Finem, like we mentioned. The OD Omni Knight, quite a lethal combination.
Yeah, as well with the Void, and pretty good against the Epicenter. So
yeah.
Do you look for something like a Bat Rider here? Do you look for some sort of Vessel for the Lifestealer, or do you just want to add some physical damage to this arsenal for Ad Finem?
Well, Bat's banned, so
okay.
Bat refers to they have the Sanking for that. They could still go for the Puck. I know Thug is a big fan of it. It doesn't help versus the Huskar though, which is my concern. I think the Storm would have been kind of clever, kind of cool. I think that was a pretty decent ban by them. What else? I know Thug really likes his Templar Assassin. I don't know how I feel about it entirely.
Meld is nice here. There's not a lot of tick damage as well. I mean, against the Huskar, you can just lane it 1v1, but you'd expect the mid laner to be coming out now for elements. So, yeah, it's a bit of a risky pick. They could maybe go for... You could go for a Queen of Pain, something along those lines. There's another Vessel. The pure damage from the Sonic Wave is pretty good against the Huskar as well as the Omni. So, I don't know. There's options, I suppose.
Yeah, they don't really have a Diffusal carrier either, though, which kind of stinks. So,
You go Jug mid lane?
I was just thinking, do people still do the Jug mid lane from TI?
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Maybe very rarely, though, right? It's starting to fall away a bit.
He does offer you some physical damage as well. Not the most ideal chrono target if he's able to get the Blade Fury off, so I don't hate it.
They've got some elements overall. Just their draft looks kind of weird though. Like the Void and the Elder Titan looks cool. Like individually, they look kind of like the first half looks cool, but then like the right half looks almost weird. Like we're mentioning, they got forced to pick this Huskar, so it's gonna look weird. So I'm trying to think what they need. Some like they need some like really strong mid laner, but
Silencer.
I guess they're gonna go for a support. Interesting. They have like very weird draft coming out from Elements. They got completely messed up because of them having to grab their Huskar for sure.
I mean, it's not often that you get a silence off before a Sand King's toolkit, so it is the Jug mid.
You do the Jug, good call.
Yeah, that's fair. You mentioned it, kind of the big disparity or the big shortcoming in their lineup, I should say, was that they didn't have that Diffusal Blade carrier. So makes sense for Thug here. Up against the Silencer, not the best matchup, but traditionally Jug can survive in the mid lane, especially if you get up a bottle. So should be just fine. I don't know if I really love the global here. It's a bit interesting. So they put Mind Control on the Omni at this point. So it is a support Silencer, as you were talking about.
Because it's Huskar mid. That's like...
Yeah.
I guess it's like... Hey, I guess he'll do okay.
It does feel like, as you were mentioning before, that they got cornered into it, and they had a plan in the beginning of the draft, and then it was like, all right, if we don't pick Huskar, we just lose the game. So let's now try and build around him. They're forced into the Omni Knight pick, and then it's like we have to put the Omni Knight in the core role. So yeah, it definitely does feel like Finem had the upper hand in that second phase. We'll see how they actually end up faring here. I mean, Lifestealer is definitely a hero that it can be a bit unforgiving. If you don't do well with him in the early mid game, he does tend to fall off. So
I mean, the thing is that Omni Knight is one of those heroes where he can make the game, he can change the entire game, and it's kind of easy to mention that, but like looking at versus Adfin's lineup, they have a lot of AoE magic damage with the Sanking, sure, they have the Infest as well, and then they have a mixture of physical damage on the other ones, but a well-placed GA after a Sanking ulti could like completely ruin the entire game, pretty much, once in like the proper setups, because they don't really have anything to go through that Huskar after that.
right.
And like once he gets low, if he's just repelled and gets GA'd, like the Huskar's just gonna do Huskar things. Like Element's lineup is very interesting, but it's hard to execute for sure. They need to get very good Chronos off from Goji.
I definitely would agree that Finem have the advantage in sense of ease of execution.
Oh,
so
we're stupid. Whoops, my bad. It's a Void mid actually. I should have known. It's Goji mid.
okay, so
Huskar safe.
I don't know. How do you feel about the Void? I mean, I guess against Silencer the matchup's fine, but Last Word's actually a pretty darn good way to deal with Time Walk.
Wait, what? It's Void versus Jug mid.
Oh right, okay. They're
That's like Silencer's on his team, bro.
oh man. That was rough. It's fourth game. We'll get better at it, as we go.
It's it's gonna be interesting. That's to say the least, guys. This is gonna be a really interesting game. We've got a 4v4 top lane.
And one Burning Spear. Swift Ending. Oh, wow. 3-man's Fortune's End on top of the Blade Fury. Swift Ending's going to be the first one to go down. Mandara, he's trying to make it away. Has the Rage skilled up. He's going to salve through the tick and turns around with the right click. Gets the second kill. Spartan on the Dazzle is going to be the one to get the double. LeBron's going to drop here as well with that big hold. Couple more right clicks, and they'll even secure the last hit for Thug. 2 assists and a kill towards the mid lane. I mean, Goji's going to get a little bit of time by his lonesome, but...
Nice. And Finem does exactly what I was going to say that they should do. Like we mentioned, like you want to aggro into this Huskar. You always want to pressure him. They do that. They're going to put the Sanking 1v1 versus Omni Knight, which does obviously amazingly well because it's a melee versus a melee as a Sanking. And they're going to pressure. They're definitely going to pressure this Huskar while mid lane should just be a pretty much straight off. I like this setup.
And this is where Silencer support just seems so underwhelming. Like in a 3v3 scenario, it just seems like this hero doesn't do all that much. You need to be able to get this hero levels for him to scale into the mid game and actually be some sort of presence. I feel like at some point he just becomes a walking global. So we'll see how they end up faring here. But yeah, Finem, as you were touching on, is one of the teams that is not afraid at all to aggro. I mean, we saw it in game 1. We'll see it again here in game 2. So we'll see how they end up faring here. But either way, in terms of the 1v1 matchups, Finem and as well as the Element side should be fairly happy with their matchup. I mean, the Sand King, he's going to have an advantage over the Omni Knight, but elsewhere in the mid lane should trade fairly evenly.
Yep, they're just hoping for crits. One's hoping for crits, the other one's hoping for bashes on each other. They're just trading right clicks. It's pretty cute. Bottom lane, Mind Control getting pressured quite heavily by Skylark right now.
Yeah. Gonna drop down the repel, right click into him, but he's gonna be forced back towards his tower. Luckily, he has the repel up during that Caustic Finale. Level 2 Burrow Strike though, so it does need to back off and salve. Be careful to get towards that wave and grab some last hits. Looking, Madara is gonna need a pause once again. So hopefully Greece can get their shit together in terms of their internet. But either way, it definitely feels like that start in the river is going to help propel Finem into this early mid game, and it doesn't entirely force them to rely on grabbing kills with this aggressive tri-lane. As you mentioned, as long as they can pressure the Huskar and keep him from gaining early momentum, they should be pretty content.
Yeah, pressure Huskar, just get levels, don't let him free farm. They can probably rotate the supports after a couple minutes, but because they don't need to stay up there the whole time, but...
You concerned at all about the lack of lockdown on Element's side? I mean, pretty much they rely entirely on this Chronosphere.
I mean, I'm concerned. I'm pretty concerned overall about Elements, just because like they got pulled out of their comfort. Like they had a draft definitely in mind, or like an idea in mind, and then they had to force this Huskar pick, and they're into a pretty strong Finem lineup, which scales extremely hard into the late game. I'd even say harder than Elements by quite a fair margin.
LeBron in trouble.
Getting gone on.
Yeah, he's going to be at Fortune's End up. Couple right clicks will be able to kill him off here, and conveniently Madara will be the one to pick up the last hit. So this tri-lane will strike first blood. Milan, in the meantime, will have suicided here to the neutral creep. So swift ending. And he's got 8 CS, which is admirable, but certainly not having the early game he'd want to with 2 supports present in his lane.
Yeah, the only good lane that's happening right now is the mid lane. Void's actually beating the Jug by a good amount. They're just trading right clicks.
And one time walks it away, so certainly feels good. But last we're going to come out onto Spartan and going to force him out of the lane for the time being. But definitely have enough. The Dazzle, it feels like the Dazzle and the Oracle have enough for this moment in the top lane. He's going to have to purge himself, will MNT, to try and back off Ancestral Spirit, Astral Spirit, whatever you want to call it. Will not kill him off.
The fight's staying later on, and also for Finem is going to get crazy. Like Healing Ward with Dazzle and Oracle. Like if someone gets Oracle, they just like Healing Ward plus 1 Dazzle heal, and this should be just fine.
Right.
So a lot of
suicide
different
from
ways.
MNT.
Yeah. And it's also, we didn't really mention this either, but like they're probably gonna get like an Aquila, I'm assuming, on the Jug. So he has like the armor versus the Elder Titan. They're gonna have Weave versus the Elder Titan aura as well. So it's gonna be pretty nice for them going into those stages.
Yeah, Weave definitely a very good tool to have in your arsenal in towards the late game once that natural aura gets scary. But top lane hold is gonna come out onto swift ending, and they've got the open wounds there. It's overlapped a bit with the hold, but they don't have an Echo Stomp just yet for Milan, so they'll be able to bring him down, and there's no response in sight. Curse is going to connect onto 3, but it doesn't feel like they have the damage, really. Nar going to jump forward and is going to be forced to pop his magic stick for the time being. Nuke goes out onto Milan. Everyone a little bit low from Finem, but they get the kill they're looking for, and they're able to back off to safety.
So it sucks about not having really like any defensive aspect in your tri-lane with your Huskar. Sure, they have the Omni for later on, but in the laning phase, he's going to struggle. He's just going to get gone on. And yeah, you're just looking at the CS board. It's going quite in the favor of Finem in 2 of the lanes, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, Void holding his own for Goji mid lane, but kind of becomes very obvious when this hero leaves the lane to go gank. So, and again, as you mentioned, Skylark on his signature hero, and he's doing very well. So he'll be certainly a force to be reckoned with towards this mid lane, and his item progression should be a fairly desirable one for Finem.
I do think that they are, like in this top lane, I think they might even be going for kills too, like thoroughly. Like going for 1 or 2 kills is fine, as long as you don't blow like what? They blew 2 full supports, health and mana, and all the regen on Madara.
Yeah.
So that kill may actually have not been worth it, to be completely honest with you. I think they should just be keeping the Huskar at bay for the most part, and just getting the farm up on Madara, because you can't let him fall behind.
Yeah, definitely
like
so.
They're pressuring the Huskar, but like you don't want to overdo it where you end up like, it's like it becomes not efficient because of how much you're expending to get those kills. So they're being a little aggressive here. They don't have the Oracle coming out just yet. But yep.
Oh, the magic stick though will keep the Huskar alive for the time being, and he does have the 1 point in the Berserker's Blood, so he's gonna be right clicking very quickly if they continue.
Trouble here.
Oh, they did not catch the Fortune's End onto the swift ending Huskar, but they will get Milan for his troubles. Had that caught the Huskar, maybe they're able to grab them both, but either way, it's gonna be constant skirmishing in this top lane, and I just feel like Finem are slightly the beneficiaries of it. But as you mentioned, Madara a little bit low in farm, a little bit low in levels. They do of course have the recovery mechanism though of, when Skylark picks up his Blink Dagger, they'll be able to infest bomb him up and grab a couple of kills. Mid lane, they're going to force the Time Walk out to the south for Goji, and at least give Thug a little bit of time by his lonesome in lane.
Yeah, the one nice thing is Madara's going to have his infest soon, so he can at least accelerate his farm and everything with that, and have that extra little bit of sustain plus magic burst. But yeah, they're just, they know, they're just like constantly like, alright, let's just keep running at him. But Madara has no mana, no health, no life regen, and he looks pretty naked.
Yeah. His CS is a bit subpar at this point, to say the least. They have kept the Huskar down though, who's just about at the same juncture, but it looks like Spartan may end up dropping here. No, the Purge will save him. Oh, the Fairy Fire heal is there as well. The Stomp is going to try to be there to cut off his retreat, but they will catch the Chrono onto Madara with that Void being in the mid lane, and they will grab up the kill on the Lifestealer. The supports are able to make it out, however. Finem not able to really find any trades. No kills happening bottom lane. Towers not being pushed in mid lane, so the first Chronosphere rotation is going to be a successful one, and it is going to be the Huskar to grab up most of the bounty for that kill on the Lifestealer.
Successful kill, but you're expending your chrono for no real objective gain. Sure, you get the kill, but it's not really a free farming Lifestealer. It's a aggro tri-lane Lifestealer, so he is not really the most leveled or anything. And now this is where they should make the move, because Madara is starting to fall behind a little bit in farm, so he's gonna make his move bottom and farm versus this Omni Knight. And oh, mind control. He's got repel up in 3 seconds. He should be just fine to repel TP. Oh, he's gonna be cocky. Oh, and he's gonna bait them.
And he's hanging around here. Stomp. Not going to be queued up just yet. Oh, they are just going to go straight onto Milan, but the purification won't be there, and the repel. They even expend the epicenter. Big miscue from Skylark there, sitting at 10% HP, popping off the epicenter. Now they're going to chase him down with the degen aura. They get the purification off. Nice hold coming out from MNT, but Stomp. He has a rage available still. And he will drop the open wounds. He's going to rage up as well. The Stomp will be dropped and does not connect. They get the Purify off to kill off the Oracle. And are going to try and continue to chase forward, but he has no rage left. 4 seconds until the Purify is back up. Milan kind of wants to hang around and bait it out, but he is too low at this point. MC going to continue to jump forward. Pops it off, gets it onto the Dazzle. Now he's in trouble. He will pop the repel. Look to continue to fight. Stomp's going to be there. It's going to be dodged with the rage by Madara. Now a TP in from the Oracle. Purification kills off the Lifestealer. And Milan able to walk away from this one towards the mid lane. So the rotation down bottom lane is going to hurt big time for that Lifestealer from Madara.
Mind control's owning. Look, he's going to get another guy. Look at him. This level 4 degen aura.
Oh,
and now he's going to turn for the Dazzle. Is he going to get him?
And we'll be able to make it out unscathed. Gets the Oracle, though.
MC's... he's rich! I'm telling you, Omni Knight, no one expects this hero.
Core Omni, new metas. Last word going to be thrown out onto Skylark. They're chasing him down. 4 seconds until a time walk's available. They have a Chronosphere as well. They want to expend it for this kill. Goji's going to look to find him. Oh, he'll whiff it. Burrow Strike from Skylark. Going to keep him safe. That's unfortunate. That second Chrono once again used. No objective found. They find a really good engagement bottom lane, but Chronosphere off the map for the next couple of minutes. Omni Slash available for Thug.
Madara is dirt poor.
Yep. Sitting on 6 overall on the net worth behind all the cores in the game. And that's just kind of the effect of that aggro challenge. He does pick up the Infest now, but he already uses it, so can't group up with his Sand King. I mean, Skylark does not have an initiation tool at this point, but does have 4 levels in the Burrow Strike, so there is still potential for this. Swift ending a little bit low top lane. LeBron does not have a global silence just yet. They don't have all that much physical damage. It's mostly the Shadow Wave here.
I think they can just kill him anyway. It's only level 1 Berserker Blood. Like, you have to remember that he needs like high levels to have high level of it. I think they should have just gone for the Huskar there.
He just used Epi. Skylark just used Epi.
Yeah, like, you have to remember, it's only level 7 Huskar. His E is very low level at this point. Sure, he has Armlet, but you should be able to bring him down as long as you save the Shallow Wave on top of the stun. Skylark's gonna go down now here.
Yeah, he's silenced up. He does get the burrow down to the low ground, but a couple more Burning Spears will take him out. Gets the Shadow Wave off. Astral Spirit. Oh, the Grave will be there in time. Like, he actually will end up surviving. Pops a Magic Step for good measure as well, but using that Epicenter is going to hurt severely going forward. They do get the tier 1, however, in the mid lane in the meantime. Looks like Thug was able to bring that down. Still has his Omni Slash. There's only a range creep here. Elements need to be careful not to stick around, but looks like they'll be just fine for the time being. MC back towards the bottom lane. 2,100 gold in his pocket.
This is kind of what will happen in at this stage of the game, though. They have made mistakes and everything at Finem, but it's kind of same as last game when we said this. They needed like something instead of the sniper to make the aggressive plays. Bottom lane, MNT, heal bomb.
Right into the Stomp. Lovely play there.
But yeah, it's like the Juggernaut is the one who should be running on making the space because he in this position that he is, right? But it's a Juggernaut. You don't really want him to do that. Oh, nice global on Madara there.
Yeah, lovely. Beautiful Stomp as well from Milan, playing very well on this ET, and it looks like the Dazzle going to die too here for this one. Mega kill streak going the way of MC. 5-0-2, 2,800 gold on this Omni Knight. and they have just yet to deal with him in this bot lane. Madara, yeah, he needs to be the one taking the free lane, as you mentioned, but he's the one fighting up against this Omni, whereas Thug just kind of free farms in towards the mid lane, and, you know, he is in a pretty favorable position as the Jug, but there's just no space being created for this lifestealer at all. Skylark is farming just as the Juggernaut is, and neither of them feel that they've accrued enough to start to get active, but Thug will finally rotate out of his lane, yet to use the Omni Slash here, 13 minutes in.
MC literally just runs him down. Look, he's gonna just chase him down. He's dead.
As a rage available, he's gonna have to pop it here. Last word will silence him if he doesn't. Jump forward from Goji. They have a chrono. They still have a chrono if need be. Stomp will connect. Chrono going to be used here. It catches mind control, however, but they will get the one bash needed in order to bring him down. Now they have the Purify to follow down MNT. Time dilation, only one charge. They're going to need a bash. The Purify is actually going to miss, and therefore they will have to back out. But they get the Lifestealer in the meantime. Finem not willing to fight, it seems. They're just going to try and trade this tier 1 top. And it was a pretty deep dive for Elements. Madara, he's not worth all that much at this point, but they're continuously keeping him down.
I mean, a solo Jug can't carry this game versus an Omni Void Huskar. This Lifestealer is dirt broke.
Major concerns at this point for Finem. Skylark is going to have his blink relatively soon, though, on the Sanking. Actually has picked it up here, sub 14 minutes in, so they do have the Epicenter available once again after that previous whiff, and they are hanging around in this dire jungle looking for a straggler to enter.
Yeah, Spartan only level 5 at 14 minutes. Very unfortunate for the Dazzle. Oh, running right through those creeps. LeBron
is going to be found out, and they will just burrow him up. Shadow Strike is there. A couple of right clicks. Don't have to expend all that much for the support silencer. It will reveal the blink dagger, however.
I wonder what MC is saving for. He's just... Is he going to go Radiance?
Yeah, he probably is at this point. 3,700 gold in his pockets. We'll see in about a creep or two. He ends up picking up that relic, but does kind of seem to make a lot of sense in this one. Gonna be able to cancel the blinks. He hasn't died.
Thank God.
All right, so
it wouldn't have been good, but I mean, he was just banking. That'd have been really interesting to say the least.
So he is gonna pick up the plate mail for now.
You just go what, like Shiva's or Lotus Orb?
Yeah, Shiva's Lotus Orb. Lotus Orb probably common. I mean, AC is a possibility here too as well against Dazzle, but and for the Huskar, but just a little odd on an Omni Knight. There is an Arcane Rune bottom lane, and the Chronosphere is cooling down here shortly. We want to grab that up and utilize it. Jump forward. Earth Splitter is going to catch the Dazzle out, and he does get the Grave off, but only going to delay the inevitable here. Arcane Rune actually was going to be picked up by Mind Control, who did complete up the Lotus Orb here. So just more defensive capability onto the Huskar. And it's nice up against the open wounds as well. Don't have to use that Repel to purge it off.
Yeah, and they're just going to take Roshan for free here. Madara needs to just farm, honestly. He should just not even be fighting. If anything, like set up for maybe some infest gank with the Sanking if it's a for sure free kill. Other than that, nah, I think he just needs to farm. He's way too far behind.
Rosh can be picked up for Swift Ending on the Huskar. He's going to have himself an extra life for the next little bit. Is sitting on level 9, so certainly under-leveled relative to the rest of the cores in the game. But, I mean, as you've mentioned, been alluding to, Madara is just far and away the least farmed and leveled core in this game. Elements sitting in a pretty comfortable position at this point. We've yet to see a big blink epicenter, so that could be something turning the tides of the fight, but it definitely does feel like Elements in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, Madara's still going to be going for that armlet build, so he's got the Dominator picked up, or he's got the Helm of Iron Will, but very, very slowed down. They struggle to fight if Chrono's up, if Chrono and Global up, they really can't at this point.
There's an Aegis in hand as well, so cutting the wave top lane is Skylark. Going to be scouted by the Astral Spirit of the Elder Titan. Does have a blink away, so sticking around here trying to cut the wave and looking to take out a tower. Stomp going to come through, force him back. Dara will be able to dodge it with the Rage, but now impending is the Silencer as well. He's going to jump forward with the Infest, and the last word, it's going to kill him off here. Global is there as well. Madara trying to make it out, will be able to do so. Earth Splitter, not quite there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, though, they will be able to get the Dazzle, and Skylark just hanging around a little bit too long on that Sanking. They end up getting the tier 2. They know they can't fight mid, so it's some sort of trade for Finem. But, I mean, they're still hanging around in this mid lane with the Aegis. Mind controls Omni behind Swift Ending, constantly pushing in towards this Radiant side. Got Armlet just standing under the tower here, not feeling afraid in any sense. He's got a GA behind him. Actually, GA not skilled up just yet, but Mind Control going to be able to find his level 11 here shortly.
Madara looking to fight.
Gonna wrap, he's gonna find MC. Repel is gonna be popped, but there's the Lotus Orb, and now it's gonna force back the Burrow Strike with the Omni Knight, but it kind of puts MC out of position here. He gets the Purifying Flames off the dunk forward from Swift Ending. He is gonna be able to bring down Madara. Likely, no, they get the Fortune Send and the Grave off onto the Lifestealer. They'll keep him safe for now. Jump forward. Epicenter is not going to do all that much. It's just this Huskar who's very healthy at this point. Dunk will kill off Skylark. Thug simply has to back away. Goji has now joined the fray as well. And GA still in the hands now that Mind Control has leveled it of the Elements side. They've got a Titan to TP towards mid lane and join them relatively soon. They've still got the Chronosphere available. Epicenter is off the board. Omni Slash as well. So there's really no reason for Elements not to continue forward here.
Yeah, not good for AF. Just way too far behind on Madara. He doesn't even attack. Like if he's in Degen aura, he just actually like has like the longest backswing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that nerf just like a patch or two ago on the BAT. Rearing its ugly head here, and Goji with the repel jumping forward takes a lot of damage from Thug, but will just be able to time walk it off. Thug fairly farm, but as you mentioned, Solo Jug is not going to carry this game, and in fact, he's going to be solo chronoed and brought down. They can't get in range with the Oracle or the Dazzle. Nicely placed chrono by Goji is going to ensure his death. Huskar is going to be on the killing spree. 45 seconds on the sidelines. Burrow Strike comes through too, but they really just aren't capable of fighting here. Stomp is going to connect onto Skylark. They'll dunk him up. Global will ensure his death. He can't burrow away. And that'll be the lane of rocks here. And just as quickly as they are taken in game one, it looks like Elements, they're going to be able to draw this series up in game two.
Yeah, and even though like I don't think they really wanted this Huskar per se, they kind of got like put into a position where they just were like, okay, we have to pick it. It's working out super well for them. Like MC has played so clutch in that off lane. He's like look at his farm, 9,000 net worth on an off lane Omni Knight who was versus Sand King. It's not the horrible matchup for Omni Knight, but it's definitely not a favorable one. And yeah, he pulled out super far ahead. The rest of them are playing well, and I think Finem just played a little bit too over aggressive in that top lane, and it actually just bit them in the ass. And then as soon as Madara swaps, he dies as well from the lane. So just lacking some tools. It could even be because the Juggernaut pick, they didn't have a tempo controller. They had to depend completely on the Sand King Blink Dagger to make things happen. But at that point, Elements already had what they needed. So now it's just, yeah, Finem's just completely stuck on their side of the map, while Elements has free reign to do pretty much whatever they want now in this game.
Yeah, and after that, skirmish in the mid lane and the buildings going down, all this time Thug has spent free farming. I mean, he's now simply just at parity with the Void, the Omni, and the Huskar on the other side. So really,
oh my goodness, there's actually no way that Finem can win this now. I don't think.
Stomp comes through, jump forward. They'll get the free kill, as you were mentioning, kind of the only reason for the Infest Bombs to come out with Madara, and we'll give them, a free kill. But it costs an Epicenter, and I'm sure as soon as the Elder Titan is back up, Elements will be looking for a fight.
They have to, I was literally saying that because he was Epicentering, but also because MC has the Crimson Guard now too. So the little physical damage that was going for Finem is going to be almost completely negated with that, plus him skilling up Guardian Angel. And now for let's say if they go for this tier 2 or even a high ground push, Epicenter's on cooldown for a bit, so Elements have a bit of a time window opening.
They're just going to take out this tier 2 with relative ease in the bottom lane and look to go towards this high ground. The Titan will be able to TP to the bottom lane, but it looks like he'll just stymie the push for now in towards the mid lane with his Spirit, and then look to join up his comrades in the bottom lane. So doesn't really no inhibitions here for Elements. They have all the tools that they need. Epicenter they know is off the board, and it is for another 40 seconds at this point. So the Repel up, Swift Ending. He's got a Halberd as well. Halberd, Crimson Guard. They've got everything. Jumping forward, Time Dilation, Purification, one more right click. Dazzles out of the fray before he can even grave. 25 seconds on the sidelines, no buyback And it looks like Elements are going to get their second lane and potentially the game here almost for free. Top
yeah,
lane.
they can't fight here.
Top lane jump forward. He just chronos to delay out any response push coming out from Finem. Goji going to try and bait out the Omni Slash and then be able to time walk it off. But now TPing back is Mind Control with the Repel. They're going to try and fight this 2v2. And the Blade Fury going to be coming out from Thug, but doesn't look like it'll save him here. DJ Nora should catch him in just a moment. They'll look to turn to Madara.
Oh, the global.
Global will be there. He cannot rage or open wounds. Thug looks to take out the melee racks. He needs the melee. He'll get it. But ends up dropping. And in the meantime, bottom lane, Epicenter coming out, but they're not going to be able to kill off these heroes. Swift Ending tries to get forced to the low ground. Won't be able to get quite down, but there's no buildings left here for them to TP to. And Last Word almost secures the death. Earth Splitter not going to be able to connect onto the Oracle, but they get what they came for. They get 2 lanes of racks. They lose a melee top, but Elements should feel just fine at this point. Windlace is going to be put down for BM on the ground, and they're going to back out, heal up, and look to rinse and repeat.
Yeah. Elements definitely looking much better this game than the last one. MC actually overall looking much better this game than the last one.
I mean, the one lane kind of seemed like Goji did well mid lane against the Juggernaut. He didn't absolutely crush the lane, but he certainly gained a sizable advantage. And MC just winning that bottom lane heavily for his team, along with Milan's contributions, just kind of seemed to be the story of that early game. And just no recovery from. You mentioned it very early on. Finem were just a little bit too hungry for kills in this top lane, and they didn't ensure the CS of their lifestealer enough. And that first rotation from Goji with the Chronosphere able to kill him off. He's been poor ever since.
Yeah, it's like the 3 things that end up happening when you aggro time that you need to make sure of is, okay, if we're going to go for kills, we have to make sure we're getting farm on our carry, number 1, getting levels on our carry, and number 3, getting levels on the supports is probably the most important one. And you could say they suffered heavily. Like Spartan got level 6, he was level 5 at 14-15 minutes. He has level 1 Grave. So he can't even grade people inside of Chronospheres. Like the whole plan just gets it's screwed up if you don't like actually just think about that whole scheme of it. And then it's just after that, it's just everything that's happening is just because of little things adding up and Elements just overall playing better and reading the movements on the map better.
Yeah, Goji gonna be hitting pretty hard now as well. Diffusal Blade on top of the Manta, so can't even solo kill in these Chronospheres, and they're just gonna continue to threaten those abilities, but quietly just poke away with their 2 tanks up on the high ground. Thug's going to jump forward, and Epicenter on the back lines looks like it was popped off. Global is there. They do end up getting a kill with the Infest Bomb, but now the Chronosphere will catch both of them. They have the Purify on top of it, and it's going to catch onto 2. Eul Scepter will only delay the inevitable. Madara trying to armlet toggle will end up dropping. False Promise is going to be there. They're going to dunk forward onto Thug, though. They just need a couple more right clicks. GA will be there. False Promise will tick out and kill off Skylark. GG will be called. Elements able to draw up this series, and for the second time in their run thus far, Finem going to draw up 1-1, yet to win a series 2-0 in BTS for EU.
Yeah, I think this game overall, I think Elements, they played better, but this was the MC show. I think this is kind of what happens when you don't really play versus Omni too much either. You kind of just like forget what he really, like, not what he does obviously, but like the cooldowns, how short it is, like how much pressure you can do with DJ Aura and everything, and it just like really flourished in this game. Everything, his skill build was perfect too. He went that 4-1-4 little cheeky build, and it paid off in massive dividends. He got like I think 3 or 4 kills just because of that degen in the laning phase. So huge props to MC there. Definitely the MVP of this game.
Yep.
Split 1-1 series though. Both teams looking definitely needing to work on some things. Finem, I think, definitely need to work on their over-aggression. Elements, maybe some things with their supports. Definitely looked like they were having some issues in the 2 games.
Yeah, ends up with 80% kill involvement, 20 of the 25 kills, does Mind Control, level 15, highest XPM in the game. So definitely took that one over, as you were mentioning. But overall, looking a little more solid was Elements Pro Gaming, and this time the aggro try not working out for Finem. Guys, that's going to be enough for my lovely and insightful co-caster for the day. You can follow him over on Twitter at FoggedDota, all one word, and you can follow me at MRP Dota. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the cast thus far. We're going to have one more best of 2 coming your way here on BTS 2. You can check out the other line of games over on twitch.tv/Beyond the Summit. So next series there will be Ad Finem versus Kai P. So big game coming up on line A. And over here on line B, we're going to have Pro Dota versus Fantastic 5. Hope you guys have enjoying it thus far. We'll be back in about 20 minutes for the final BO2 of the day.